Hey there guys, my name's Mittens and welcome to part 4 of the Morrowind Let's Play. I kinda goofed up a bit this time when I was recording it, somehow, some reason why, I don't know. I decided to record with the microphone switched off. Stupid rookie mistake, you know it. I was just so excited because we look like a badass strafing all over the place with our huge iron axe. You know it, looks awesome. But anyway, in today's episode we're basically going for our first dungeon run. We're heading into the ruins of Arkenland, if I've said that correctly, to find a Dwemer puzzle box for the hard-to-pronounce named Hasfat Antabolis, who basically needs the puzzle box in order to give us a book which will help us in the main quest to figure out these different cults to do with the Dwemer. Some strange, bizarre shit, but we're heading into some Dwemer ruins, and you know that's pretty fun. That's what everyone wants to do. So that's basically what happens in this episode. I'm also going to take the time to kind of talk a little bit about some other stuff, some news, what I intend to do in the next couple of videos, just because I'm not recording the audio real time. This is like obviously post-production, if you will. I don't know, what the fuck. But yeah, basically. But first, I'll just show you what happens here. The way to get to Arkenland I remember very well. You basically turn left when you get the opportunity, rather than going onto the Moonmoth Fort, where we went earlier. It's pretty easy to find. The road is like a bridge which goes over a hill, which is right next to the fort. You'll just see it. It's where those, you know, ominously looking burnt trees are. if that was a bit of an indication. But yeah, it's basically up this path here. Now you're kind of about to see that things don't really go my way this time around, and that's basically just because I tried to fight a guy head on without any kind of planning. I forgot that this was Morrowind. It's not really like Skyrim or Oblivion where you can pretty much kill everything in one go. Oblivion was a bit harder, Skyrim fairly easy, but in Morrowind it can be really difficult killing people, especially casters. Playing as a caster yourself is quite difficult, but playing against casters is really annoying, as you're about to see here. We come up against a guy who's a conjurer. I just think, fuck it, I'm going to do him in. He's racing towards me. First thing he does is summons himself a Jack Skellington. Decides to go for the skeleton first, and like kind of block myself, but it doesn't really work. He manages to go right through me. The skeleton's dead, but by now I've already got very little health. I think I'm going to kill him. I'm doing really good, but then he heals himself, and what do you see here? I'm just fucked. Like, I thought I was going to survive, but then he summons another skeleton, and I've got no chance. So that's what basically happened there. And if you had heard the audio at this point, I was swearing and shouting. But here we basically try to do it again. This time we have better luck. And what I do this time is I think, well, fuck the skeleton. The skeleton does fuck all. I'm pretty sure this time around I go straight for the guy, because I know that he doesn't really have that high health. He's a caster. I think his only bit of armour is an iron breastplate, which you can see quite clearly on him. And I just decide to just go in there and fuck him up, to put it politely. And I don't know why I'm bothering to crouch there. I'm not stealthing anyone. But yeah, basically I just go straight forward. I try to dodge a bit. I try to dodge around some of his spells. Yeah, and I go straight for him. And but I'm missing all my attacks. It's pissing me off, because I'm thinking, fuck it, I'm done for here. He's gonna get around me. But then I just start to land some of these heavy hits like this. I'm starting to get him, and he can't move, and that's him gone. And obviously when he goes, his summoned minion dies as well, which is kind of why I wanted to go for him first. He's got a few things on him, but like most NPCs at this point in the game, there's not really much that I'd want for selling purposes or anything. And due to the weight of items, it's quite impractical to try and pick up loads of gear. But yeah, I just rest there, and obviously get interrupted by this ratty bastard, and we just miss each other forever. And I manage to kill him, and then I think I rest again just to get the health up. Oh no, I don't. I'm a dangerous bastard. But yeah, just briefly to tell you what my plans are. I'm going to, and this will probably be good news for a lot of people who are interested in it at the time, I'm going to make another video for the Shaman Let's Play on the Warsong Phoenix server rather than Emerald Dream. Why? Just because that those two videos, or three videos, I'm not sure how many there are, those two videos have gotten hundreds of views, and people really wanted me to do them. And to be honest with you, it's nice to change from my usual class, which is a melee DPS like my warrior is now, and just do something a little bit different. Also, the higher rates, whilst I'm not really that much of a fan of the 12 times rates, they are good for things like wanting to put out videos a little bit quicker, and maybe just because I'm not really in the mood for making loads and loads of hours of gameplay and just putting loads of time in right now. Today I don't really want to do that, but what I am in the mood for doing is just leveling up quite quickly and seeing my character develop, seeing the talents go in, because I never played a shaman. I had a shaman as my main character in Mr. Pandaria, but I didn't play a shaman back in with the old talent system, so I don't know what the talents are, so it's kind of new to me, and I just want to see them and stuff like that, and also just travel about. Obviously that video won't take place in the Barrens. I'll probably go to Silver Pine, somewhere a little bit different to what you've experienced, because I know that there's been like 3 videos in the Barrens in the other Let's Play. But yeah, I'm just going to do that, mainly just as a thank you to all the people who've really put a lot of time into watching the Vanilla WoW series and the review and stuff like that, and just because it'll be something a little bit different. It does bring me on to something a little bit negative whilst we bash this guy's head in. Probably an apt time to discuss something a bit negative. And sorry about the combat noises. I don't know why they're so loud when people block, but it's just how it is for some reason, like that. Really fucking annoying. Imagine what it's like for me, like trying to play, hearing that all the time. Anyway, this little thing I'm going to say is that I ended up banning someone from my channel a couple of days ago. Why, you ask? Well, basically, he wasn't doing anything particularly abusive or saying anything about me, but basically he left 3 comments regarding the Phoenix servers on different videos of mine, basically really slating them, and I just wasn't really interested in hearing that, to be honest, because I'm all for people voicing their opinions. Somebody, for example, mentioned to me that they think that Emerald Dreams can go pay to win, and people have mentioned that they're not happy with 12 times rates. That's perfectly fine, but this guy was just completely slating the server, and you get people like this who will get very territorial over their own servers or whatever they like to play, and it was kind of just annoying. It wasn't the sort of negativity I wanted on my channel. And for example, there was somebody who said that they didn't really like 12 times rates, and then he commented saying that the only reason why there's 12 times rates on Warsong is because Phoenix is so bugged. They wanted to cover them all of those bugs up by making it 12 times rates, which, as most of you will know, is completely stupid, because if you've watched my Emerald Dream Let's Play, you know that that's run by Phoenix, and that's a 1 times rate server. So how many bugs have you seen in that Let's Play? Because I've encountered maybe 1 or 2 so far. So just, you know, stuff that I knew to be false like that was just pissing me off, and I don't really want to dissuade people from playing what I know is a perfectly good server. I have got no reason to big up Phoenix other than it being good, and I enjoy myself, and I don't want people to hear what I consider false opinion. So that's basically why I did that. So apologies to anybody who thinks that I'm denying free speech, but fuck it, it's my channel. I'm sorry, just I don't want to hear any kind of negativity like that where I feel like people are just butthurt over their own personal experiences. I won't do that towards games like Archage and Wildstar, where I've been kind of bored and not really enjoyed it myself. I won't slate people for playing those games, so don't slate me for playing Phoenix, and don't slate the server. Thank you. Anyway, back to this. Sorry about having to put that in there. I just thought it was worth mentioning, and people thought, where the hell did that comment go? I got rid of it because it was pissing me off. What the plans are for Morrowind? The fortunate thing is, unlike an MMO, or unlike one of these more linear games, like for example in Warcraft, I'm just basically leveling up and that's the plan, and then when we're at 60, who knows, I might take one of the characters and make some videos of dungeons, raiding, me failing at PvP and being utterly destroyed by rogues and warriors, who knows. But with the Morrowind Let's Play, the thing that I like is that it's really, really open world. I think that a lot of the reason why some more old school gamers view Morrowind as the best Elder Scrolls game is because Morrowind is by far the most open world. I mean, you can argue that things like Skyrim and Oblivion have far more depth in terms of their quests, and the difference between quests, and the fact that it's all voice acting means that it can't be as large scale. I perfectly accept that. To be honest with you, in my opinion, you can't really rank one Elder Scrolls games above the other, because Morrowind had all of that depth and the large scale. Skyrim had it perfected the leveling system in my idea by combining the idea of using your skills but also a perk sort of talent based system. Best leveling system I've seen in an RPG in my opinion. But Oblivion in my opinion had the best theme. I really like the music, even though obviously it's all Jeremy Soule. I love the music of Oblivion, I love the style, and for me personally that's my favourite, but I don't really think you can say one game is better than the other, really. But people think that Morrowind is better, it's their opinion, because of the open world style. Like, there's so many more guilds, like there's the Imperial Cult, the Legion, houses Telvanni, Redoran and Halalu, there's the Vampires, there's the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild, and the Morag Tong. There's loads of different, like, sort of societies that you can join. They don't have the same sort of linear questing style as in Oblivion and then in Skyrim, where you feel like you're having a guild-based story. Like, I've gone quite far in the Thieves Guild before on previous characters, and it just feels like you're doing several kinds of jobs, but it is still guild stuff, really. Also, I think that the reason why people like it is because you can go anywhere and just find quests. Obviously, you can do that in things like Skyrim, but I think the fact that you have to look around a little bit more in Morrowind and talk to people makes it feel somewhat more immersive. I know that somebody commented on one of my videos, and thank you for that, basically saying that they liked Morrowind because of the fact you had to talk to people and really get into an in-depth conversation, if you will, if you were to find quests and if you were to find information, which some people like, others don't. It kind of takes more time, yet at the same time it is quite interesting. It does make you feel like you're doing a more immersive sort of game. So the point that I'm really trying to make is that with this Let's Play we can go anywhere, I can visit anywhere. Sometimes I'm just tempted to, when I get to like level 10 and I've got some levels under my belt, just go off and wander. But at the same time I kind of want to use the main quest and the Fighters Guild to propel me up to the higher levels. Because I mean, even if you see what I'm doing now, I think that this gets me an extra level, or it really helps me get some of my skills up. Unfortunately, as you'll remember, a lot of those skills that I picked were to do with combat and also to do with like athletics and stuff like that. Things that you do use quite often. I think one of the problems with the magic-based classes that you can play, or the magic-based skills, is that you have to use those skills, and a lot of them only require combat, whereas things like, I don't know, heavy armor, athletics, these things can just come from being in combat. You don't have to be attacking, you don't have to be hitting, and also athletics can come from just moving about, and obviously you have to move about, there's no horses and stuff like that. You can use the Silt Striders, but running is kind of necessary for a lot of quests. But really, the reason why I wanted to play this was I really wanted to play a game where I felt like I could progress with a character, level up, choose my own talents, and choose my own like perks in terms of like strength, endurance, speed, that sort of thing, and just see a character develop. It's the same reason why I like playing old school WoW, because I feel like there's more of a sense of individual character development with the large scale talent system. It's even more large scale than it was in like Burning Crusade or Wrath, because then you had to kind of narrow down to Fury, Arms, or Pro, or whatever it would be, whereas in this one you can pick from whatever. So for example, with my Warrior is the best example, I've got talents from Arms and Fury at the moment. I've got like improved rend, and I've got critical strike benefits and stuff like this. So I kind of like these sort of really heavy RPG based games. So to be honest with you, I'm really enjoying doing Morrowind, I'm enjoying doing Vanilla WoW. But let me just bring us back to the present and tell you how this was going at this point in time. Really, I was just searching through Ark and found I always get lost, even though I've completed this part of the game dozens of times. And I was just looking for this puzzle box that we needed to find, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. I had this weird inkling that it was like on a table somewhere, and I know that it's like on a wardrobe, but it's literally just hidden away to the side, and there's nothing like particularly interesting about it. It just looks like a grey square box, a brown square box rather. I thought it was going to be like on a table, and it was going to be really easy to locate and stuff like that. But welcome to Morrowind. Finding items could be quite difficult, but that adds an element of difficulty to it. You see, I thought it was going to be on these tables that you see right there. In truth, it's literally just sitting on the side on the desk, and it's easy to find if you just happen to look at it. But I did all of this without any kind of pointers or looking on like UESP or Morrowind Wiki or whatever to try and find like where exactly it was. I just had a look around. Maybe not the best idea, seeing as who wants a Let's Play where it's literally just wandering about all over the place, but really this kind of is part of the theme. This kind of part and parcel of the package. If you want to play this kind of older school RPG, you kind of get lost a lot. I mean, if anyone's ever played EverQuest or watched anything to do with EverQuest, a lot of it is about getting lost and finding your way. That's kind of what RPGs are, really. And it's kind of why I like Morrowind, why I like the whole, the idea of having to talk to people to get your quests. I don't like it when it's handed to you. It's kind of why I stopped playing World of Warcraft, because I felt like literally everything was handed straight to you. The reason why I like Vanilla is because I feel like I want to raid, because I want to just do it with my friends and face the challenge and see how it is, and then enjoy the loot afterwards. Whereas in Modern WoW, when I raided Siege of Orgrimmar a couple of weeks ago, I just felt like I was doing I just felt like I was grinding, like raiding felt like a grind, so that I could get gear, so that I could raid harder, and it just didn't seem like it was that fun. I know that that's essentially what raiding is, but is that the drum of puzzle box? No. But in old school, it felt like raiding was done for the challenge, because like bosses were quite difficult, and when you did get a piece of gear, it wasn't just like a case of, oh, that will enable me to do better. It was more a case of, oh, I feel good that I've got that item, I've earned it, and now I feel like a little bit of a better player. I feel like my character's progressed. And of course, as a role-playing game, which that MMO is, that's what you want to have. So yeah, I'm just fucking about in Morrowind right now, just looking for this puzzle box, just rambling in the background. Most people are probably muted by now. But yeah, I really always get lost in this part, and you can't really blame me, because it's not like you have any kind of sense of direction. One thing that I noticed in Skyrim, because I've put in, obviously, like hundreds of hours in Skyrim, like most people have by now, is that, really, the dungeons seem quite linear, which I actually think is quite a good thing. There's usually like a through road, like you go in one entrance, and you come out another entrance, which is quite good, because it feels like you don't just have to go all the way to one end and then come straight back out. In Oblivion, it was kind of like that in a lot of cases. You had to go right through a dungeon and go all the way back out, which, if you played the sneaky character, wasn't the best thing. I remember one mission, it's the Fort Farragut mission, where it's one of the Dark Brotherhood quests. I won't spoil it for anyone, but basically you have to sneak past all of these guys in order to poison somebody, and then you have to basically get back out. There are different ways of getting in and out, and like most Oblivion Dark Brotherhood quests, there are different ways of doing things, which is why I loved it so much. It felt like a game with choices, but that being said, it was really annoying because I didn't have night eye or anything like that, and it was pitch black. Wasn't sure how to change the brightness, because this was back when I was a kid, and I was an idiot, and God, let's just say that by the time Skyrim came out and you do that first Hellgate one, where you go in one way and then you come out the other, it was very, very refreshing. I'll put it that way, I was very refreshed to see that. But in Morrowind, a little bit more of a difficult sort of idea. Also the fact that there's no quest markers. Obviously in Oblivion and in Skyrim they had the quest markers, the green and red arrows in Oblivion and the white markers in Skyrim, to tell you where like a quest item was, or a guy you had to kill was, or where the exit was, and that was really quite helpful, to be honest. I don't really see that as a bad thing. It kind of upped the pace of the game a little bit more, things moved on in a more kind of more enjoyable pace, and you felt like you were getting through content, whereas with Morrowind a lot of the time you feel like you're trying to locate stuff, whether it's on the map or in dungeons or whatever. But at this point I'm starting to think, well, maybe I'm heading in the right direction. You know, we've just killed a guy, and he was harder to kill, as you might have seen from that fight, than the others. He had more armour, and he had more loot on him, even though it was still shit loot. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm heading in the right direction. Maybe he's like the equivalent of some kind of warlord or mini-boss at the end of the dungeon or something. And lo and behold, I think that's the puzzle box right there. Who would have been able to find that, seriously? On the bottom shelf, there's like a fucking little wardrobe sort of thing. Almost impossible to find, but this is me knowing that I've got now, and I'm just on my way back through now. I feel quite good. I feel like I did well to get through this, like, sort of effectively a dungeon without dying, because sometimes I've done this and it's quite easy to die. I think it's the merits of picking quite a not necessarily easy to play class, but a class that's quite well rounded and is quite fun to learn with, and quite rewarding and not necessarily brutal towards the player in terms of progression. Somebody asked, and I will reply to this question right now, what's a good starting class to play? One of the good things about a game like Morrowind is that it's really up to you. It's not like something like World of Warcraft or whatever, where if you were playing on Phoenix, I would say start off as a warrior. You know, that's a good choice. Start off as a warrior, maybe start off as a rogue, or most importantly, start off as a hunter. Easy classes to level, easy classes to survive with, and quite enjoyable when you get to max level. Morrowind is far more open-ended, and bloody hell, these cliff races always try to ambush me. It pisses me off. But anyway, to answer that question, just go with what you want. I like playing melee classes. I've played rogue-style assassins in Morrowind many times. It's personally not really for me. I wouldn't really recommend it because it takes some time. It's not as easy as in Oblivion or Skyrim with the crosshairs and stuff, and if you're located in Morrowind, you're pretty much finished. I would say that a warrior like what I'm playing is probably the easiest sort of class to start off with. A mage is quite difficult, but can be really, really powerful when you get up the levels. A rogue is, I would say, probably quite the hardest, because obviously there's not dual wielding. You have less armor if you want to do well. It's kind of a bit more harsh on the player, but I really think that rogues are the most fun for the RP value. Like Morag Tong quests are really interesting. Finding the Morag Tong is really interesting. You'll make a load more money as a rogue than you will as anything else in Morrowind, which is kind of important because of repair costs and stuff like that, and buying new gear. But for me, if you really want to know what's the easiest class to start off with that you're still going to have a good time with, just go with a similar thing to me. A guy with a big two-handed weapon, heavy armor or medium armor, and just pick things like an armor trait, a athletics or acrobatics, things that are going to level up fairly quickly, and you'll have a good time, to be honest. You'll be able to do most of the quests for the different factions. I would steer clear of the Thieves Guild and the Morag Tong, because obviously they're tailored towards sneaky characters, but hell, you might want to be a heavy armoured thief, who knows, a bit weird, but you might want to do that. But go with a heavily armoured sort of axe or sword wielding character and you'll have a good time. You'll be able to do all the different houses, the Imperial Legion obviously, Fighters Guild, and the main quest will probably be easiest for you like that. That's my best piece of advice, really. So as you can see right now, we've got the puzzle box. We're just heading back to the Fighters Guild to hand in the quest. I was just checking my character sheet to see how far up the levels I'm getting. I think that once you play a game like Skyrim, it's quite hard to fully appreciate the style of Morrowind in terms of the different skills that you have. But at the same time, what I really do like about the Elder Scrolls games is that each leveling system has been slightly different. Morrowind had the idea of you picking like a combat, stealth or magic, and then picking a load of skills that you preferred, and then just them leveling up gradually, and then every time you leveled up you would put points into strength, or into any one of the major traits that you wanted, the major attributes. Whereas whereas Oblivion was quite similar, except that you had like the idea of novice, apprentice, journeyman, or master and grandmaster, where each time you got to one of those blocks you effectively got like a talent, like a role or a power attack. And then Skyrim, in my opinion, perfected it by having these as like traits and stuff like that, where you basically just pick the ones and the perks that you liked. I really loved that, because not only did they include visual things, but they really felt like you were progressing, and it reminded me of the WoW style talent where you could see differences to your character and stuff like that. So big thumbs up to Bethesda, you're doing it right, we're having a good time. But basically, the leveling system in Morrowind is still very good, especially if you consider when it came out and that it was still developing. They were still kind of playing around with the different ideas. As you can see here, we're just handing in the quest to Asphalt. He gives us this book. Seems a bit weird that we were risking our life for a book, but there you go. And that's basically our first dungeon, and I hope you enjoyed. It felt quite good. It was quite a compact episode. I know a lot of the time I was lost, I'm an idiot, I'll have to deal with it, but it felt nice to, you know, blaze through it, get that first dungeon done, and show you like what it's like to do a dungeon in Morrowind, in the first dungeon. But anyway guys, I'm sorry for rambling on, it's because this was in post-production, but I hope you enjoyed my foolish commentary and the video itself. Please like, favourite and subscribe if you enjoyed. Feel free to leave comments. I try to respond to every single one, because obviously it's not a huge channel, so it's not that hard. But stay tuned for more Morrowind. There's going to be a Shaman video up soon, and I'll see you in the next video of whatever I make. Bye bye.